Most people believe they're living freely. They think their decisions are logical, their relationships are genuine, and their conversations are honest. But what if most of your daily interactions are not real conversations at all? What if they are psychological games, repeated patterns of behavior that people play unconsciously to gain control, validation, power, or emotional payoff? According to psychiatrist Eric Berne, this is exactly what is happening. In his groundbreaking book, Games People Play, Berne reveals a disturbing truth. Humans are not as rational as they think. Much of life is a silent battlefield of hidden motives, emotional traps, and invisible power struggles, and most people don't even realize they're playing. Eric Berne starts with a simple but powerful idea. Every human operates from three psychological states, which he calls the parent, the adult, and the child. The parent is the voice of authority, rules, and judgments we absorbed growing up. The child is emotional, reactive, impulsive, and driven by fear or pleasure. The adult is rational, calm, present, and objective. In a healthy interaction, two adults talk to each other. But in reality, most conversations are not adult to adult. They are parent to child to parent, or child to child. And that's where games begin. A psychological game is not a game for fun. It is a repetitive pattern where people pretend to communicate honestly, but underneath there is a hidden agenda. Every game has three parts: a bait, a switch, and a payoff. First, someone offers bait, an innocent-looking comment, complaint, or question. Then comes the switch, where the interaction suddenly turns uncomfortable or confusing. Finally, both players receive a psychological payoff, usually confirming their negative beliefs about themselves or others. These games are destructive, but people keep playing them because they are familiar and emotionally rewarding. One of the most common games Berne describes is called Why Don't You? Yes, But. In this game, one person presents a problem, others offer solutions, but every solution is rejected with yes, but, that won't work because. The person never wanted help. The real goal was to prove that no one understands them, that their situation is hopeless, and that they are a victim. The payoff is emotional superiority. See, I tried everything, nothing works. This game destroys productivity, relationships, and leadership environments, yet it happens every single day in offices and families.
Another powerful game is If It Weren't For You. In this game, a person blames someone else for their failures. I could have been successful if it weren't for my spouse. I could have taken risks if it weren't for my parents. The hidden benefit is avoiding responsibility. As long as someone else is to blame, the person never has to face fear, uncertainty, or self-doubt. This game feels safe, but it quietly kills ambition and personal growth. Berne also exposes relationship games, where intimacy is replaced by manipulation. One example is, Now I've got you, you son of a bee. In this game, someone waits for the other person to make a small mistake, then explodes with moral superiority. The goal is not justice, it is domination. The player wants to feel powerful, righteous, and emotionally above the other. Many toxic relationships survive not because of love, but because both partners are addicted to the emotional payoffs of these games. One of the most dangerous games is See What You Made Me Do. Here, someone provokes another person repeatedly, then acts shocked when the other finally reacts emotionally. The provoker becomes the victim, while the reactor feels guilty and ashamed. This game is common in abusive relationships and workplaces. The manipulator maintains control by triggering emotions and then denying responsibility. Understanding this game is critical for protecting your mental health. Berne explains that people play games because genuine intimacy is terrifying.
Real connection requires vulnerability, honesty, and emotional risk. Games provide a controlled substitute. Instead of saying, "I feel insecure," someone criticizes. Instead of saying, "I want attention," someone creates drama. Instead of saying, "I'm afraid to fail," someone blames the system. Games protect the ego, but they imprison the soul. A key insight from the book is that most games are learned in childhood. If a child only received attention when they were sick, dramatic, or problematic, they may unconsciously repeat those patterns in adulthood. The mind seeks familiarity, not happiness. This is why people recreate toxic relationships, self-sabotage success, and repeat emotional cycles they claim to hate. The game feels wrong, but it feels known. Berne emphasizes that the ultimate goal is to move from games to what he calls authentic living. This means shifting interactions into the adult state, where communication is direct, honest, and free of hidden agendas. Authenticity feels boring to people addicted to games because it lacks drama. But it is the only path to freedom, peace, and real power. So how do you stop playing games? First, you must recognize them. The moment you feel confused, emotionally triggered, or drained after an interaction, a game has likely occurred. Second, refuse the bait. Games only work if you react emotionally. Staying calm, factual, and adult breaks the cycle. Third, take responsibility. When you stop blaming others, the games lose their purpose. And finally, choose intimacy over control. Real connection is risky, but it is infinitely more rewarding than manipulation. The most powerful realization from games people play is this: the moment you understand the game, you regain control. Manipulation only works in darkness. Awareness destroys it. When you see patterns clearly, you stop being a pawn and start becoming a conscious player, or better yet, someone who chooses not to play at all. Most people will spend their entire lives trapped in invisible psychological games, blaming others, repeating patterns, and wondering why nothing changes. But now you know the truth, and once you see the game, you can never unsee it.
If this video opened your eyes, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep psychology breakdowns that actually change how you see the world. And tell me in the comments, which psychological game did you recognize in your own life?